Hey everybody, it's Crafts for Reborns. I am here today because I wanted to talk a little bit about a video that I saw recently. And it was by a young lady who's box opening her first Reborn doll. And the doll was from China. And she was not happy with the doll. The doll actually was painted very well. She's very lucky. Most of the Reborn dolls that you see on eBay are factory painted. This did not look factory painted. And like I said, it was painted very, very well. The hair was okay, but the rest of it was painted very well. And she said she was disappointed and she was going to send it back, and because it looked like a dead baby to her. It didn't look realistic at all. And it made me think about us as collectors and how we are always searching for that more realistic baby. What's an even more realistic baby? What's an even more realistic baby? It's almost like we're searching for the holy grail of babies that is perfectly lifelike. And although, that's fun as a collector to always be looking for beautiful lifelike babies, we can love a baby even if it isn't totally lifelike. Case in point, I want to bring you down here to my Four Season Fairies, and I want to show you right here Little Autumn Mariposa. Here she is right here. And Little Autumn is the Shyland kit by Shauna Clymer, and she was the second Reborn that I ever bought, and my very first custom doll. And as you can see, when you compare her to her sister sitting next to her, she is nowhere near the quality that they are. Her eyebrows are very dark and simple. Her lips and tongue should be a different color. Her skin tone is actually really nice. It's not really showing here. It's nighttime. But her hair is rooted it's very pluggy. And then you look at her fingernails, which I'm not sure the camera is going to cooperate with, but it almost looks like she has nail polish on. She has very dark nail beds, and they've got that harsh white line. And when you compare her to my newer acquisitions, it is clear that the quality of her painting isn't nearly as good as everyone else. But I still keep her in my collection. Every time I think about possibly selling her and getting, I do have my own Shyland kit that I can make for myself. I don't, because there's something very special about her. For one thing, she's a full-sized fairy. She's a newborn-sized fairy. Those are very difficult to find nowadays. But it's more to it than that. She reminds me of my journey that I've had both as a Reborn collector and a Reborn artist. When I first started collecting Reborn dolls, I was really surprised at how expensive they were. And so, like I do with most things, I was always looking for a bargain. And when you look for getting a bargain, you are not going to get a quality Reborn doll. I paid much less for her than I have with babies that are more recent in my collection. It also serves to remind me that as an artist, I have come a really long way. And boy, do I appreciate the people who bought my first few dolls. My first few dolls were not very good. And I sold them for rock bottom discount prices. But I appreciate those people who bought them, because that allowed me to buy another kit and to practice and become better and better. And hopefully I get better and better with each doll that I make. But the point is, even with all of her imperfections, I love Little Autumn Mariposa because she reminds me of my journey as a collector and as an artist. So when you're thinking about we got the Rose Doll Show coming up, and people are going to be on the lookout for that holy grail doll, that most realistic and most beautiful of all dolls. Realize that you can love a doll Even if it's not the most realistic and beautifully painted doll in the world, you can still fall in love. You can still bond with it, and it can still be special to you. And that's why it's important that as collectors and as fellow artists that we don't, that we're not overly critical of each other. And overly critical of other collectors and their choices of dolls, and other artists, because we need dolls of all different price ranges for all different collectors, and any collector can fall in love with any doll. So that's my thought for the day. Have a wonderful day. TTFN. Ta-ta for now.